In front of a hot crowd in Rockford, Illinois, WCW opened the show hyping two main event matches for later tonight. First was the booked Flair vs. Sting for control of the company, the second was the WrestleMania 8 main event rematch with Hogan vs. Cena for the belt. In an attempt of freshening up the show, lead announcer Tony Schiavone was replaced by WCW Saturday Night host Scott Hudson for the night. WCW's Unopposed Hour saw Cena and Hogan coming out for promos to hype up the match. Hogan did an interview on the WCW website opening up on several subjects in the company. One of the main ones was Goldberg's dispute with management over a new deal. While Goldberg was out with knee injury for months, perhaps the bigger issue was negotiations behind the scenes for a major bump in pay, comparing his deal to other top names like Hogan, Savage, Bret, Sting, Nash, Hall, Luger etc., noting his workload and top main event position not matching his pay. Hogan, who a few months back took shots at Goldberg while it was going on, said that Bill is ready to come back and the deal is done, with him knowing it because his attorney is now Goldberg's, saying that if Goldberg gets his head right he has unlimited potential. Flair vs. Sting was placed to start in the crossover segment, making their entrances 7 minutes from the top of the hour. Going 9 minutes with Sting dominating throughout, taking out every member of Flair's crew before Bischoff came to the ring to call for the bell, with Sting taking control, ending Flair's 7-month run as the on-air president. Post-match saw Cena taking out Sting and powerbombing Eric, with Hogan coming out for the save in the build to the main event. "6 days from Fully Loaded, Vince McMahon and the corporate ministry came out selling the idea that this might be McMahon's final Raw appearance. Vince said that he's not promising but guaranteeing that Austin will lose the title Sunday, telling Undertaker that it's not only his career on the line but Taker as well. Taker took the microphone, starting to go off on McMahon, leading to Triple H siding with Vince and Taker and Hunter turning on each other, starting to build for the Taker split, with Vince booking Taker vs. Hunter for the title shot. Taker said that Triple H's blood will be on his hands tonight, and Sunday he's gonna bathe in Steve Austin's. Moments later the glass broke and Austin drove a bloodmobile into the arena to a big reaction, telling Taker that if he wants blood he brought him a truck full of it, promising that before the night is over he's gonna lock him in the bloodmobile and take a donation from Vince's skull, starting a show-long angle. With the Hogan-Nash Road Wild main event looking to be a babyface match, Nash came out attacking Horace Hogan, with Hulk telling him that he thought it was only business, as Nash started to establish himself as the heel in the match, telling him that he lied as it's a personal issue between them. In the build to the McMahon blood spot, Triple H and the corporate ministry were sitting around Vince for protection in a series of segments throughout the show, with a cameraman following Austin in the building. The Shane test Stephanie angle continued, with Shane calling out Stephanie to the ring, ending up with her siding with Test in the build to the planned SummerSlam payoff. Next, WCW had Kanyon vs. Stevie Ray, this time with Booker making the save for Ray in the build to the Harlem Heat reunion. In a high-profile press conference at Minnesota's Target Center on Wednesday, with every top name in the company and a big crowd of media reporters and channels from all across the country, Vince McMahon officially announced Governor of Minnesota Jesse Ventura to be the special referee in the WWF title match main event at the SummerSlam pay-per-view. Ventura and McMahon went back and forth in interesting exchanges during the press conference based on their public relationship over the last 20 years, with Ventura refusing to shake Vince's hand and saying that McMahon can't stand it when someone is more powerful than him, as in this state it's his way or the highway, and the same will happen at SummerSlam. One exchange saw Steve Austin giving Ventura a title belt, saying that Ventura didn't win it in his career because the corrupt promoter McMahon never gave him a shot, with Vince in character comically saying that it was all Hogan's fault and he had nothing to do with it. With years of heat between them, Hogan reacted to the news of Ventura's return to the business, saying that in the 70s and 80s Jesse was known for his hotel room smoking parties, and that he's sure he's getting a big 7-digit payday from McMahon, while after knocking the business for years taking care of himself first as he always did. Ventura's pay for the event was a major topic of conversation as he's benefiting from his status as a sitting governor. Ventura responded saying his appearance fee, which will be $100,000, will be donated to charity, and that he's getting another fee for his appearance as Jesse the Body the character, saying that the fee will remain confidential, leading to speculation on the number. With the industry booming and given what other outside names got for their appearances, Ventura's deal is expected to be well into 7 figures. Rock came out to a huge ovation from the Lexington crowd, with every corner of the Rupp Arena covered in Rock signs from top to bottom. Arriving to the building earlier, Rock signed an autograph while debuting the iconic "It Doesn't Matter" catchphrase for the first time in a face-to-face interaction, coming 8 days after its debut on Heat was widely praised across the board as an all-time great segment, with the company replaying it on all their weekend shows. Rock cut a promo on Billy Gunn hyping their match coming up next. Next was Randy Savage coming to the ring talking about last week's title match, saying that Nash stole his belt, while telling Hogan that he will run against him for the 2000 presidency. Before his match with Billy Kidman coming up, saying that Kidman is not ready yet for the madness. Savage and Kidman went 7 minutes with Savage in control but bumping and selling big for Kidman's spots. With Savage having the match won after 2 elbow drops, suddenly Dennis Rodman ran to the ring hitting Savage from behind, starting a big brawl to start the build for a Savage vs Rodman match. Gene Antoni, in his only appearance on the night, tried to get Rodman's comments with him unpredictable as usual, while Savage was going crazy and being held off with the crowd popping big throughout. The end of the Savage-Kidman match, in the Savage-Rodman segment, peaked the night for WCW, jumping over 700,000 viewers to a 3.7 rating, in addition to a Conan vs Vampiro match. Rock vs Billy Gunn crossed over the top of the hour, going 7 minutes in a fast-paced match, ending up with Chyna hitting Rock with a chair after having the match won with their rock bottom, leading to Gunn going over. Buff Bagwell came out to Cat's music doing a comedy impersonation of Miller in the build to their Road Wild match, while Raw had Test vs Blackman with Shane's Posse and Shamrock interfering to continue the build to the programs. After a few months of back and forth rumors on the move, Shane Douglas made his WCW debut, jumping from Heyman's ECW, reportedly signing a 3-year contract with the company. Doing a run-it to join Benoit, Saturn and Malenko against Hennig's Cowboys. Douglas, who outside of a light ECW chant was only recognized by a percentage of the audience, as the vast majority of the WCW fanbase wasn't watching ECW, cut a strong promo saying that starting tonight things will change in the company, as from where he is, if someone holds you down you bash their heads and take the spot, starting the build to a rumored Flair's Horseman faction feud, with them having legit heat from years prior to it. Raw started to pick up big at around 10:45 p.m., first jumping over 800,000 viewers in the last quarter for the show and Holly vs. Kane and X-Pac segment, which saw Taker come out and choke slamming X-Pac to keep Kane on his side, with Kane later seeing it and turning on Taker to a big pop to join X-Pac. Along with the promoted Undertaker vs. Triple H match going 4 minutes into Austin's interference. Cena and Hogan made their entrances at 10:55 p.m., with Hudson telling viewers that they agreed with TNT management and going way past 11 until the conclusion of the match. In the 1992 Mania headliner, with the other two headliners on the night and Savage and Flair also on the card tonight, Hogan and Cena went 9 minutes, with Nash attacking Hogan for the DQ, bringing out Sting and Rick Steiner for the post-match brawl. While that was going on, an unfamiliar music started, which later was heard as Megadeth's Crush 'Em song, with Goldberg making his return, with the crowd popping huge once they realized who it is. Clearing the ring from the new three-heel group to close the show with Hogan and Sting, with WCW bumped to a 3.5 rating for the over 8 minutes overrun. Raw went 8 minutes in the overrun for the go-home segment to Fully Loaded, jumping over 900,000 viewers more for one of the highest opposed peaks recorded, with a 7.7 rating, having the two top matches for the pay-per-view in the final build, with Rock going after Hunter and Austin going after Taker to eventually get to McMahon. Austin told the cameraman following him that it's time to get Vince's blood, ending up with him and Taker brawling to the bloodmobile and Austin locking him inside, and Rock taking out Triple H to leave McMahon alone, giving him a belt shot to the head, with Vince doing a major blade job in the payoff to the show angle. Closing the show with Paul Bearer releasing Taker, opening up Austin again to leave a bleeding Austin and McMahon laying next to each other in a strong go-home segment and momentum for Sunday.